residential school healing. For the deepest regret, this happened to me. Lying under the regimentated system aimed to take the Indian out of the natural Indianness. Hope was nowhere to be found, both for child and parents, and for 10 months, we were totally separated from our parents, our language, and culture. Many died of broken down spirits. The rest survived as perennial misfits. Many marked the graveyards with early age deaths. It was a lonely, aimless life. However, for me, this was where I lived for 11 years. And I have learned to paint. I have lived long enough to paint the painful, secret existence. Today I have come to terms with healing by returning to the site of the pain many years later. It was difficult to go back to that site. To heal, I had to go back to that site, to begin to live again on Mother Earth. Today, I live and speak my own words through painting. All who went to the residential schools will comprehend this painting. It is devoted to those who have passed on to their early graves without having been heard, not healed. Now forever they are in peace in the spiritual world. Blue Quills Indian Residential School. I was 7, turning 8. I left that place after 11 years. But we didn't really get anywhere because it was not institutionalized to teach us beyond grade 8. The government decided that we should all get at least grade 8. And at first it was not easy because we were isolated in a residential school and you were controlled. Anything you said was held against you or for you. Early in my life I had this European artist. He was teaching at the University of Alberta. And he would come to St. Paul to give lessons. There was 4 of us just out of that high school. We were just young, and he took us into his teachings, and it was excellent. I enjoyed it. I was learning a lot from him. And then on top of that, during the summer, the local Blue Quills school principal arranged for me to take private lessons from him during the summer holidays. So I was completely absorbed in the art world. And I used to take books from the library, And this man would say, "Do not read, study the pictures." So I started to learn that way. Instead of reading a bunch of pack of blah, 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 you study the picture and learn from the people that knew how to paint by studying their works. And it was probably the best way for me to learn at that time in my life, because I still do that today. The residential school gave me a time to begin the artwork. I started when I was already in grade 1. They called me artist. I didn't even know what they were calling me. I thought, they used to give us names in that school, and some of them were not very good. But it seemed like being called an artist was okay, And I didn't know what it really meant. But they say he's a good artist. We were run by nuns and priests, and we prayed a lot, and everywhere we went, we were always praying. It wasn't always favorable. It was kind of a little bit, things would get wild a bit every once in a while. And the discipline was strict. And the church control was strict. In fact, the whole thing was strict. It was the life that was given to us at that time. Today, none of these kids go through that kind of lifestyle, Well, the healing is a hard word right now. A lot of people are using that word, but it's the active action of the healing is not there yet, but it's something we talk about that could come, Residential school and infringement into our lives was very deep. It attacked being native. They tried to destroy that, and then they come over with powerful religious effort, and they used God. It was an enforcement of change that they wanted immediately, instantly. I think they almost got some of it, but a lot of us, we just held back, and we didn't enter into their idea of the change that they wanted us to come into. We come from powerful people who survived all kinds of things. Well, art is an expression of humanity, people, and if you really want to look at what happened here in Canada, the Indian group of sevens got the ball rolling, and I was part of that group. And it's not because we were brilliant or anything like that. We just did what we had to do. And it started to pick up momentum, and other groups started to form. And our people started to get articulate, and they were no longer afraid to say the things they had to say. The art made it possible. If you just went straight to the media the media always had ways of covering that up, and just like nothing really need to be expressed beyond that. But with the art, it's there. It's right in your face. One of the greatest things that happened, in my view, was to be able to show at the National Gallery. And one with Morrisseau and Daphne and myself, and now there's other younger people coming right into behind us and pressing, putting the pressure on the government, who normally denied things in a way that they wouldn't allow those efforts by other artists beginning to voice their opinions and becoming taken more seriously. It was not just an isolated situation. Other places, same thing was happening to them. And for the first time, they're surprised. Usually, they say, and walk away. This time, the media actually threw the picture right at them, and they saw what the truth of the situation is like today. And it's scary for them. How did that happen? How come? Well, the truth is our own people are starting to talk it up, and we're starting to be heard. And of course, Canada, all of a sudden, they're surprised, Before that, they were led to ignore it. Now they can't. Our people are starting to expose things like those unmarked graveyards and things that really happened to our people is now being exposed to the public, and the public can pretend to be surprised they are being told the truth. And there's evidence some of those schools are still there. And some places they knocked down those schools to get rid of the evidence. Our people were targets, the young people. And if they got the young ones, they got it all. I'm happy that they're exposed, because inside me, I've tried in every way to expose that through the art. And sometimes the innocent painting looks like a nice painting, but the title usually has weight. And I've been doing that for quite some time. And so I've been also not only a painter, but I've also been a rebel. If there's honesty, they would support us, not me, but us. I believe that is possible, can be possible. And I'd like to believe that this interview will go beyond, just to wrap it up and be another Native story. It's more than that. This is really a Canadian story. This painting is to give full recognition to all Native children who were taken away from their natural parenthood 10 months from September 1 till June 30th. All children were removed from natural parents and grandparents. We were told that our social knowledge is evil, not to listen to old-time elders, because they are not in the new loop of heavenly knowledge. For the above statement, I would be severely punished and told that I would go to hell forever and ever. We live in that fear as God's punishment.